Alright, everybody. We're talking about MrBeast. You're damn right. You see, my opinion on MrBeast is mixed. I genuinely don't know how to feel about him, but I lean more heavily towards positively. I find myself wanting to defend MrBeast more often than I find myself wanting to criticize him, and the criticisms that I have are usually quite fleeting. And the severity that I feel to make said criticisms usually only comes from the fact that I feel MrBeast's massive size as a content creator makes his potential shortcomings more, potentially harmful than, you know, other content creators who might even be worse than MrBeast, but don't have anywhere near as much reach, right? Now, MrBeast has been canceled for a couple things, right? You had a lot of Christians on Twitter, for example, mob up on MrBeast for being the Antichrist, because MrBeast does, like, good things, and thus that must mean he's the Antichrist, because, like, in the Bible, I guess the Antichrist is supposed to, like, trick you into thinking he's a good guy by doing saintly things, but he's actually evil and has bad ulterior motives, and, like, apparently MrBeast, the mark of the beast, like, it's a whole conspiracy theory that, like, the far-right Christian types believe, and so they started calling MrBeast the Antichrist. And there's this wave of conservative parents that are like, I'm never letting my kids watch MrBeast because he's the Antichrist. And then he got massively canceled for being friends with a trans person. And of course, every time he uploads a video where he helps somebody, he gets a very minor amount of people complaining about it on Twitter. Usually on the left, but I'll elaborate more on that in a minute. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is that sort of tendency for MrBeast to get shit when he helps people, his responses to that fact, and why I kind of take issue with it. Why I take issue with MrBeast in regards to it, I should say. Now, MrBeast, right now, has 765 videos uploaded on his main channel, with 208 million subscribers on his main channel alone. That's not counting the 18.4 he has on MrBeast Philanthropy, the 40 million on MrBeast Gaming, the 30 million on MrBeast Reacts, or the 33.4 million on MrBeast 2. So yeah, 208 million on his main channel, probably getting close to 300 to 400 million total subs if you count all of his sub counts across all of his channels. He, of course, also has alternate language channels, like he has one for Russian, Indian, I think he's got one for Mandarin. Like, yeah, yeah, so, like, it's pretty wide of a net that he casts when it comes to, like, the potential audience he can get, right? So, he's very big. He's very big, right? And a lot of his videos, not all of them, but a lot of them are focused around helping people. It's like positivity porn, is I guess the best way to describe it, you know? Like, you ever just kind of feel down about the state of the world, but then you just kind of see a video pop up in your timeline where it's someone doing a really good thing and helping somebody and making them really happy, and it's just like, you can tell it's like one that's actually real, and it's clearly someone's day or life being completely changed for the better, saving animals, that kind of stuff, right? It makes you feel good. People like that kind of content. If it's well enough done, and it's over-the-top positive enough, or it's like an over-the-top life-changingly positive thing for someone enough that it's, like, entertaining, that content can do even better than negativity rage bait. MrBeast has managed to create positivity bait, as opposed to rage bait. And that's something that is very hard to pull off, but when done right can be even more powerful, and MrBeast is, I think, the perfect example of that. Now, a lot of his content is just entertaining stuff, like what happens if you destroy a really expensive car in the world's largest shredder, and it's like, it's your money, you're allowed to do with what you want with it, even destroying expensive things that other people would want, and you're making entertaining content with it. Said entertaining content, of course, funds his philanthropy, where he does videos such as his most recent one that I can't show much of without getting yeeted, but I would like to show a bit of it so I can give you guys an idea of some of what people are complaining about. I want to give you guys a little bit of context, but this is his recent video. I built 100 wells in Africa.
In Kenya, get access to unlimited clean drinking water in less than a second.
One down, 99 more wells in Africa to go. You're gonna love this video.
Combined, these 100 wells are gonna give around 500,000 people fresh water to drink. And after...
So he explains some stuff. He doesn't explain any systemic issues. I'll give you that little summary there. That's a big part of why some lefties online get mad at MrBeast, is he doesn't really care to elaborate on why these issues exist. He just kind of features the situation that people are in and then features himself solving their problems, but doesn't really tend to go much further than that, particularly on issues where the only thing you can say is the cause of the problem is just straight up capitalism did this. Like, we need reforms to capitalism being the only solution. He will never say that. That's like the big thing a lot of people take issue with when it comes to MrBeast, is that even when he is doing his philanthropy, it does feel somewhat hollow. But then again, you have to understand that any form of criticism you make towards somebody who's literally building wells in Africa makes you look insane. You look insane. It doesn't matter how reasonable you try to make your tweet sound. It doesn't matter how reasonable you try to make yourself. It doesn't matter. You sound insane. You cannot criticize him. He is successfully, unless he is outed for something heinous, he has successfully built a powerful shield of uncriticizability around himself because of what he does. However, there is one exception. There is one thing that MrBeast has actually been legitimately canceled for and had popular support for said cancellation with. And we'll elaborate on that in a moment. And it's one of those things that kind of makes me feel a little iffy about the way people talk about MrBeast being shit on for helping people by very small accounts on Twitter. I'll get into it in a moment. Let's take a look at the particular part that a lot of people also complained about with the video.
How's it going?
This bit.
Not expecting this.
People accused him of being very white saviory here, but for one, I'm pretty sure if you went to any town in the world and said MrBeast is going to be there, you would have about this many children in a crowd ready to meet him. Two, he's about to bring in, he's about to build a well, right? So, there's about to be a new installation of water infrastructure, right? So I guess I understand why they would be doing that. I don't think that MrBeast, told them to do this. I don't think MrBeast coordinated it. I think that that's just genuinely them being grateful and celebrating that a big celebrity from America is coming to spend a shit ton of money on their, life to make their lives better, and they're going to be on the internet, seen by millions of people. Yeah, I don't know. How dare he provide clean water and reliable drink? Yeah, there's no real problem with this besides what it's not doing. There is no problem with what is being done here. The only problem that one could feasibly have is with what's not being done. And I don't think it's fair to criticize someone for not doing enough, when they're, voluntarily doing this kind of thing. Now, people also say he just does it for money, and for one, I mean, you don't know his mind, so you can't prove that. And two, well, he has to make money from doing these things in order to do more of these things. Do you think this is cheap? Do you think any of these philanthropic, endeavors he goes on are cheap? Any of the videos he makes are cheap besides his, reaction videos and his gaming videos? I don't think there's anything cheap about any of that. It takes a lot of money. He reinvests a lot of money into it. So I respect all of these things, right? I really, really do. I promise you. However, there is one popular person, and it caused a minor drama that's since been very much smoothed over that I don't want to dig up again, but I must admit, I agree with Jacksepticeye's take on MrBeast's content. Not MrBeast as a person, not MrBeast necessarily as a YouTuber, but MrBeast's content and the way that's impacted YouTube. I think Jacksepticeye is objectively right here. Give this a listen.
Completely unrelated question. Do you like MrBeast?
No.
Jack. Oh! Do you think MrBeast ruined YouTube?
Yes.
Oh! Now, in all honesty, Jack, why?
Because it became more about views, money, and popularity than it did about having fun.
You just don't think you had fun playing Squid Games? You don't think you had fun riding on yachts? Building wells in Africa? I don't know.
If he had fun doing those videos, they'd be longer. We'd see the fun.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to get me with that one, didn't you?
Now, Jack, the complete...
And I kind of agree with that. I really would... When I see a video from MrBeast where it's like... Here. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. And what Jacksepticeye is talking about here. One of my favorite MrBeast videos he's made in a while is $1 versus $250,000 vacation.
In this video,
I'm going to mute it so we don't get copyright memed, okay? This is a 16-minute video where he goes from $1 to $250,000 vacations. Watches every single one of these locations in and of itself would have made like an extraordinarily entertaining 25 to 30-minute video. Instead, we only get like a few minutes of each of these locations ever. Like, we never get to see the rest of that footage as far as I'm aware. I don't think it's available anywhere else in like a longer form as far as I know. That, like, for example, let's see the most expensive one they go on. Like, they walk around the street for a minute. This is when they go to a McDonald's. It's extremely cut, you know? Like, immediately. Like, did you see how little time we got to see them eat McDonald's with Secret Service, like, security or whatever? Like that was one of the, like, tens of thousands of dollars vacations. That could have been an entire video. That could have been, like, super entertaining. And so, yeah, I definitely see what Jacksepticeye means there. Where, like, the MrBeast, to an extent, has both lowered and raised the bar. In a sense, you have to spend more and more money in order to make your content, like, on par with the higher tiers of content creation. And on the other hand, you also have to lower the amount of attachment between the content creator and the audience to make it so broadly digestible, which ends up turning the content produced into something that almost feels like the YouTube equivalent to corporate content, you know? So yeah, I agree with Jacksepticeye on that. And it's not like a denouncing of him or his content, MrBeast, so to say, but I definitely agree with him on that. Here's the thing, though. MrBeast put out a recent video where he built 100 wells in Africa, as we saw. And right away, since I'm unbanned from Twitter, what I started to see were thousands of posts with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of likes each, complaining about how people either will, are, or have hated on MrBeast for helping people. And I would scroll, and I would scroll, and I would scroll, and I would scroll, and I would scroll through all the replies and all the quote tweets, and I wouldn't see a single tweet complaining about MrBeast doing this. Maybe one or two, like, lightly criticizing him for not, like, elaborating on the root of the problem that he's solving in the video for these people. But no hate, just unanimous praise. And not just unanimous praise, but unanimous people complaining about this non-existent group of haters that MrBeast has. And it was just bizarre seeing even MrBeast, before anyone could even have the opportunity to complain, tweeting this, like Elon Musk or something, saying, I already know I'm going to get canceled because I uploaded a video helping people. I want you to, like, actually listen to the words, the way he chooses to say this. I know I'm gonna get canceled because I uploaded a video helping people, and to be 100% clear, I don't care. I'm always gonna use my channel to help people and try to inspire my audience to do the same. No matter how much hate you give me, I'm always gonna do the right thing. Like, that is something that no other content creator could get away with tweeting. It really, really is. It really is something that no other content creator could get away with having the audacity of tweeting, unironically. It really comes off as self-congratulatory and woe is me, while also trying to make himself seem like some kind of virtuous moral paragon. And to be clear, he's spent the money and put in the work to be able to point to evidence that he is some kind of moral virtuous paragon, because he's done a lot of charity work, right? He's helped a lot of people, so he does have something to point to. Now, I kept on seeing all these posts over, like, multiple days after this happened, not seeing anyone hating on MrBeast, just seeing people complaining about people hating on MrBeast and getting way more likes and engagement than anybody who would be hating on him could possibly get. And so finally, after like the 4th straight day of the same news cycle of people dick riding MrBeast on this, I decided to quote tweet a Dexerto article, like quoting him. The Dexerto article says, "I'm always going to use my channel to help people. MrBeast calls out people trying to cancel him for his newest video building wells in Africa." Once again, yet to see any of these tweets canceling him. And I quote tweeted this and said, "The only thing I have ever seen MrBeast actually get canceled for is being friends with a trans person." MrBeast is the biggest YouTuber there is, besides corporate channels, so he will always have deranged haters online. It's just weird how you'll see thousands of posts complaining about that unavoidable downside of internet stardom for every post they are complaining about. If you don't believe me, look up the most inoffensive thing you can on YouTube, like kittens and puppies in a basket, and if it has a substantial view count, you will find an astonishing amount of hate comments and dislikes. I don't like it, but that's what being number one means. But being number one means you get it the most. That's just how the internet is. There will always be some amount of deranged haters out there that you will always be able to use as an anecdotal example. But if we're talking about numbers overall, I'm sorry. The only time MrBeast has ever legitimately been canceled was when he refused to not be friends with Chris Tyson. So, for example, I got a reply to this that said, "Have you completely forgotten the time period where he was an awful evil person for curing blindness?" Notice how, like, there's no when insert people said he was evil, or when insert person said, or insert example said he was evil for this, or giving any examples. Just this broad, like, haters group that people refer to in their tweets they try to get to go viral. And I said, "I remember all the engagement on those posts being nothing compared to this. This is the Sunny V2 video, which only 12 hours after its release, and Sunny V2 is still a very large content creator that everyone has forgotten about this in regards to. He has completely gotten away with this video. He got 1.3 million views in 12 hours, got very minorly shit on for like a couple days, everyone forgot about it, and he's back to pulling millions of views per video. He's still growing massively, and he got away with it completely. He even doubled down and made multiple videos defending himself, and there's even been like a trend of shitting on MrBeast and making conspiracy theories about how maybe secretly he's not friends with Chris Tyson anymore. The only time MrBeast has ever actually gotten canceled, that is to say, a large portion of his audience ever genuinely got upset with him, was when Chris Tyson came out as trans. And MrBeast refused to stop being friends with her. That is the only time. And yet, those same people who you'll hear either silent or even having shit takes on MrBeast in regards to the Chris Tyson thing are the same ones virtue signaling about how great he is whenever he uploads a video building wells in Africa, because they want to make it seem like it's the crazy lefties canceling MrBeast for doing good things. It's really bizarre how, like, two political sides on Twitter are, like, using MrBeast as, like, a volleyball in this like political game, but I guess it makes sense when so much of politics exists online. And if MrBeast ended up being conservative and openly conservative at that, the amount of influence that would have on Gen Z and the amount of like of a boon that would be to conservatism and how much of a nightmare that would be for many minority groups in America is definitely understandable. Not even just America, but all around the world. MrBeast has like worldwide like popularity. It would be a nightmare if he ended up being like even marginally right wing, you know?